All right, guys, welcome to the last Fruitful Investor Live show for 2018. So before we get into the Q&A and the cool Christmas giveaways, I just want to talk briefly about how to crush your 2019 because it is that time of the year where people are starting to plan their next goals and they're not sure how to achieve their goals. And the reality is most people don't achieve their goals, which is too bad. So I'm going to go over some great strategies that I use all the time. All the high level people I work with use these types of strategies as well to really keep on track with their goals and crush 2019. So I'll go over this in about 10 minutes and then we'll get into the Q&A. So number one, the first thing you want to do is figure out what life do you want to live. Now this sounds pretty basic, but here's the truth. Most people never think about this stuff. And the reality is, I'm gonna get a little rude here, people just don't think enough about what they want in life, how they're gonna get it, and that is the number one problem. So really sit down and figure out what you want out of life. Why are you even tuning in tonight to learn about real estate? Why do you wanna get into real estate? How is real estate gonna give you the life you want? The more clear you become, the easier it's gonna be to achieve those goals, I promise you. And the first thing you can do, which is a great time of the year for this is something that me and Rachel and our friends do every New Year's Eve, is that we make a vision board. So this sounds a little lame, and it kind of is, but it's really, really helpful to help you get clear on what you want. When you make these cool vision boards that you can hang up in your office or your bedroom or wherever you want to, wherever you're gonna see it every single day, it's a really good motivator because we can go back every single year, or sorry, every single month and check in on our vision board and kind of say, okay, I gotta check on this, you know, I've already accomplished that. And it's a fun, creative experience to just play around and be playful, which is something that is very important when it comes to creativity. And the more clear you get, the better it's gonna be. So like I said, something we do every single year, and it just really, really helps. The second thing you wanna do is become really obsessed. So once you write or do your vision board, right, you wanna become really obsessed. This is something that nobody really wants to tell you, but if you want to succeed in anything, whether it's real estate, business, life, relationships, whatever you want to do, sports, you need to become really, really obsessed. You must think about it all day long, every single day, and this is all you do nonstop. This is how the high achievers really achieve their goals. And again, people don't really want to say this because in our society, we don't really want to talk about being obsessed about business or money, and we don't want to have it control our lives, but the reality is we really, really want to be obsessed. So make a vision board, play around, have fun with it, do it with your spouse, your wife, your husband. It's a really cool activity and you might have a lot of fun doing it. And like I said, it's a good reminder throughout the year. I should actually get mine. I forgot to bring it down. It's upstairs in my office. Maybe we'll get it in a bit. Just to show you mine, to be totally transparent, I'll show you what mine looks like. I'll try and do that tonight. But it's just a really, really cool exercise and something a lot of people don't want to do, especially men, because we think it's lame, it's girly, whatever. But I'm telling you, it is really, really good. So the next thing, once you know kind of what you want out of real estate, and sorry, okay, Rachel's giving me some notes here. So I want to mention about the contest too that we're going to have at the near the end of this. I'm going to be giving away my favorite real estate investing book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. So I'll actually be mailing you this copy. So you guys have to comment as much as you can because Rachel's writing down notes right now, or writing the names down of everybody on this live, and then we're going to pick them out of a hat at random, and you're going to win this book. And also, I'll be giving away a free coaching call as well. So stick around on this live because if you're not on the live when we announce this, you're not gonna get any of these prizes. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up real soon. I just wanna get through this in a bit. The second thing you wanna do, once you do your vision board and you know what you want out of life, so for me, it's pretty obvious. I've said it 1,000 times on my YouTube channel, right? I wanna travel the world, live in Costa Rica or Hawaii, live somewhere cool. That's why I do real estate. The whole reason why I'm doing this right now is to help build my business, buy real estate so that I can live that life. So I'm very, very, very clear. I know exactly how much money I need to make that life happen. I know what kind of house I want to live in. It is very specific, and I am very obsessed with that life and that goal. So that's really what you have to do in order to achieve these goals. But the second thing you can do to really help you achieve these goals is reverse engineer. So let's say you want to make 100 grand from real estate every single year. That's your goal, right? You want to quit your job, retire, and live on 100 grand a year. That's a pretty good amount of money. You can definitely travel the world, spend more time with your kids and your wife and your husband, etc. That's a really good wage. So that number seems very scary to a lot of people. But like, how am I gonna make 100 grand from real estate while I'm retired? That's a lot of money. Well, reverse engineer. So to get this, in order to get this 100 grand a year, let's say you need to buy 15 properties. Now again, that's gonna sound scary, but let's say it's over a 5 to 10 year period. So if you buy 15 properties in 10 years, right, that's just over 1 property a year, 1.5 properties a year. That is a very, very achievable goal that most people can attain. The more serious you become, the more you'll raise that goal. Trust me, we're buying 5, 6 or more properties a year at minimum now at this stage in our business. So buying 1 property a year for the next 5 or 10 years is very, very achievable. So don't let it become overwhelming. So let's say you need to buy 15 properties to make this happen. You're gonna hold them for about 5 to 10 years. What you're gonna do, first I should break down, 100 grand a year is only about $8,300 a month. So break it down. The more you break things down, it's not so scary, right? 8,300 a month, that's not too bad. So let's say you buy 15 properties and then we wanna sell 10 of them, right? When we're done. So we've held them for 5, 10 years, whatever. We're gonna sell 10 of them, and from each property, we're gonna make 100 grand, which is very, very easy to achieve when it comes to mortgage pay down, appreciation, cash flow. When you're buying quality properties in quality areas, making 100 grand per property in 5 years of holding that property is very achievable. You'll likely do a lot more than that, but let's be very conservative in our numbers here. So if you sell 10 of them, that's $1 million, right? So you're gonna walk away with $1 million. And I'm not taking into account taxes because like I said, you're probably gonna make way more than 100 grand per property. So I'm just making things really easy here. So we're gonna take that $1 million, let's say, and then we're gonna slap it on a $5 million multifamily building. Maybe it's a multifamily complex of townhouses, etc. A $5 million building is huge money. It's a lot of money. So we're gonna slap that $1 million, which is 20% down, on a $5 million building, right? And we're gonna make, I got my numbers here, $7,500 a month, which is very doable on a big property like that. Again, you'll probably make way more than that. So $7,500 a month in cash flow just from that one building. So that's pretty good. We're almost to our goal of $8,300 a month, but you still have 5 properties left over that you didn't sell. You still have equity in those. I'm not even talking about that. Let's just talk about cash flow. So let's say with those other 5 properties you have, combined all together, you're making $1,500 cash flow from each, about $300 each property, right? So again, that's pretty good. If we add all of these up, right, we're at $9,000 a month in cash flow. So you've already surpassed your 100 grand a year. So I don't want to make it sound too easy, but it is much easier when you break things down in monthly steps. Then we're going to break down per property, and then we're going to achieve our goal of $8,300 a month. So this is a very quick example. There's a million different ways you can achieve this. This is one way. This is most likely the single family way, which is what we're doing, right? We love single family properties, and we've pretty much already attained this, or could attain this goal very easily with what we have now. Again, don't let 15 properties over 10 years scare you. You know, we've been investing in real estate for just about 8 years, and we now have 19 properties, and we're working actually on our 20th property tonight. We're trying to get a deal done. We'll see what happens. So it is not that hard when you become serious in real estate and you know exactly what you're doing. You have the education, which my YouTube channel is full of real estate investing strategies, how to build your business. I have a course to teach you how to attract money, etc. So all of the education is out there. So break things down, reverse engineer your goals, and then it's not so scary. Last thing I want to say here before we get into the Q&A, what you have to do in 2019 is surround yourself with winners. So you've heard the saying before, I'm sure, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So be very careful who you're spending your time with. Start going to real estate events, networking events, start meeting up with investors in your local area. If you're in the Kitchener-Waterloo area, definitely contact me. You know, I'd love to hang out with more awesome people who want to kick ass in life. So find people who want to do what you want to do. Because the more you start getting to real estate investing and you start changing your life in 2019, you are going to find that a lot of people are going to start trying to pull you down, crab in the bucket style. That's just the way it is. It's just human nature. The current friends you have might not be cool with you trying to be more successful or making more money. Your family might even distance themselves from you. These things will likely happen to you the more you start trying to crush it in 2019. So be ready for it. So start replacing people. I'm not saying to ditch your friends, to just kick them out of your life, but start finding more people who are winning at the things you want to do. If you are just trying to buy your first property, start hanging out with people who have 5 properties, 10 properties, 15 properties. They're going to push you and make you feel like you need to start working a little harder. They're going to push you in a good way, right? And these type of people are very motivating, right? So if you hang out with real estate investors, if you hang out with me in my area, right, I'm definitely always trying to help people and push them and make them achieve their goals. I love doing that. It's the whole reason why I do these YouTube lives and all my videos. I love coaching people. So find people who will motivate you and who have what you have. If people don't have what you have, make it a 2019 goal to maybe spend less time with them, especially when it comes to business and talking about business. So be very careful who you spend your time with. So that being said, let's get into the Q&A because I'm sure a lot of people want to get into that. So if you have any questions, anything real estate related, 2019 related, feel free to ask away. What's the first question that we have? Any questions?
Yeah.
And guys, the more you comment, the more likely you're gonna win these prizes. We're going off of, if we see your name the most, you're probably gonna get picked more often. So start commenting, ask questions. I'm here to help you guys.
Okay, so just a couple comments first.
Sure.
Andrew Howe says that he's actually gonna buy his first property in 2019.
Nice. Where are you buying that property? That's good stuff, man. That's awesome. That's a great goal.
William Ebert said he bought 2 properties this year and he hopes to buy at least 1 more in 2019.
Nice. That's great. See, we got winners here on this channel. It's awesome. Start hanging out with people like this. It's good for you.
He says, I'll be able to get 1 more, then I will likely hit the financing wall.
Yes.
That will leave me with 5, but I live in 1. So I will need to learn how to get investors.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you're aware, but I have a course exactly based on this. I don't want to be too pitchy, but this is exactly what almost every single real estate investor is going to need at some point. We all hit the financing wall and you need to learn how to attract money and people to you. And like I always say, the world of marketing and business has completely changed. So get my course if you're interested. It is definitely going to help you attract partners to you. Every single partner I've ever attracted has come from YouTube and social media. So it's extremely powerful to learn the new rules of business. We'll talk more about that later in this live.
Victor M. Vargas says, any advice on using the 401k to get the ball rolling in real estate?
Yeah, so you're based in the States, I'm assuming. So yeah, it's a good idea to take that money out. This is obviously a custom case-by-case basis on your finances and your life plan, but generally your 401k or the RSP in Canada here isn't the best for achieving financial abundance and financial goals. So if you can use that money and buy real estate with it, you will likely be much better off. Depending where you're buying and how you're buying, almost 9 times out of 10, it is a great idea to take that money and put it into something better, like a hard asset, like real estate. You have to understand that the government really doesn't want you to retire on your own money. That's why it's called a government savings plan or a registered savings plan. We don't want to save our way to financial abundance or retirement. It's impossible. You will never save your way to an abundant life. You have to invest your way there. So investing in real estate, buying many quality assets while they all appreciate at the same time, they're all getting paid down. That's really the tried and true best way to live a good life and actually retire on your terms. You're not relying on the government to take care of you, which we all know how that normally works out.
So in terms of retirement, William Ebert, he said that he's in Edmonton.
Nice.
And he would like to retire early and comfortably and have a place in Mexico to escape
Cool.
8 months of winter.
Oh, that's a great goal, man. You're definitely on the right track. Real estate can definitely do that for you. I know a lot of people who are doing exactly that. We're on our way to doing something like that. So it's definitely possible. And real estate's a great avenue for that.
Okay. Ooh, lots of questions coming. Great. So Victor wants to know again, advice on choosing a real estate agent that knows the investing part of real estate.
Yeah, so this is very important. When you're investing in real estate, you must work with an investment specialized realtor. Remember, you're not buying a regular home with a white picket fence. You're buying an investment property. So the one thing you want to do is your investment specialized realtor, the question you want to ask them is how many properties, investment properties, do they actually own? You want your realtor to be a rock star. And what I qualify as rock star status is they must own 10 or more properties. If they do not own 10 or more properties themselves, it doesn't mean maybe they're not a good realtor to work with, but you really want to focus on these. They must have a minimum of like 3 or 4 properties to really work with them. But if they have 10 or more, it means they're obsessed It means they have a system in place, they've done it several times over, and they can pass that system on to you. They have the contractors, they have the mortgage brokers, the right mortgage brokers, they have the lawyers, the property managers. They have a whole system for themselves, which means they can pass that off to you. So whatever area you're looking in, you want to really research this. Look for social media, number one, right? That's the new way, the most important way to filter people nowadays, right? Social media. So look at people's YouTube channels, Instagrams, Facebooks, LinkedIn, whatever. Make sure they're active on there and they're actually doing deals. They're making things happen. And good question to ask is, do they have 10 or more properties? That's a great step-by-step thing to follow to make sure that you're working with the right realtor.
Andrew says, stuff you wish you knew when you were getting started and buying your first property.
So the one of the things I always kick myself for is I wish I knew social media, even though when I really started, it was just kind of taking off the ground. Now it's like a no-brainer. You have to be on social media. And attracting and marketing. So you guys know I'm already obsessed with this. This is what I talk about a lot. But I wish I started this way earlier, because when I was 22 investing in real estate, I thought I could do it all on my own. And almost every single real estate investor I talk to has the same mentality when they started. I don't want to work with partners. I don't want to split 50-50. I can do it all on my own. I'll save up my own money and buy my own properties. That is a terrible mistake. You want to start learning, marketing, and attracting people right now. Even if you have 0 properties, even more reason that you must learn how to do this to start making a name for yourself, start making a brand for yourself, start specializing in one niche. I talk a lot about this in my course. And this is super important. I don't just want to talk about this because I have a course out. That's not the reason I'm doing this. It truly is incredibly important, especially now going into 2019. You must learn branding and how to be a good marketer, because that's how we dictate who to work with now. Everything now is about social proof. I'm gonna write that down because it's very important and a lot of people don't realize it. But social proof has always been a thing, right? We always work with people that we know, we refer people that we like to our friends, etc. It's always been social proof. But now it is so much easier more than ever to really dominate social proof through marketing. We don't need to go to networking meetings all the time and meet a bunch of people. We can start our own social proof and start our own branding right at home, right? I'm doing this right now. I'm at home right now. This is social proof. This is branding. This is marketing. So it's easier than ever, but most people still haven't come around to online marketing, social media marketing in 2019. It blows my mind. Even so many business owners, they haven't realized this yet. So the sooner you can get on this, especially as real estate investors, there's like nobody doing this. So the sooner you start getting on this, the better it's gonna be. And you don't have to go as insane as I do with YouTube and all these things. You could just start with blogging. You could write a small book, it could be 30 pages. That's all it takes to gain that social proof and start getting your brand going. You don't have to go insane, but definitely start and learn how to do it properly. That's something I wish I learned at the very beginning.
Okay, so Alexander Olewski says, what is your take on condo prices? Their forecast in 2019 in downtown Kitchener.
Downtown Kitchener? Okay, so I'm not a huge fan of like apartment condos in Kitchener-Waterloo. They're a great investment in Toronto, in New York City, in LA, etc. There's not too many in LA, but condos in Kitchener-Waterloo aren't it yet. A lot of people here want still the yard. They want a freehold home, like just a home they can raise their family in. And that's really what tenants want here, and home buyers as well. So the condo thing isn't really happening right now in Kitchener. So it's not that it'd be a bad investment. It's just there's better investments when it comes to semi-detached properties, townhomes, detached properties, duplexes, etc. You know, physical standalone buildings do a lot better in Kitchener-Waterloo than they probably would in Toronto, right? Condos are really popular there. It's not really a thing here. So be wary. I wouldn't say it's a bad strategy. Don't do it at all. Just know where the trend is going. It's different here. It's not a big city. It's not gonna be a huge big city for a long time. So unless you're gonna wait like 40, 50 years until Kitchener becomes the next Toronto, go for it. But right now there are better things to put your money in, right? The properties I'm talking about appreciate faster. They're more desirable for tenants. You can make more cash flow on them. When we're buying new build, I'm not a fan of new builds in any way for real estate investors, specifically apartment condos, new builds, because you're paying a top value, you're paying market value, they cost too much. The condo fees are incredibly high. on a new building, and you're going to cash flow very, very minimal. And the other reason why I don't like condo apartments is because they have elevators. And elevators usually always break down, and that's the number one reason why in a building, condo fees will rise a lot. And something a lot of people don't know, in any condo, but especially a brand new condo complex or building, they'd always do a 5-year audit on the financials. So every 5 years, they do a whole audit of projected expenses, projected things to break down, to set money aside for. And that condo fee that you buy at the very beginning, that's really cheap. It's only like 150 bucks, 200 bucks a month. Yeah, well, in 5 years, that usually always skyrockets because they projected wrong at the beginning. Things broke down that they didn't anticipate. They have to budget for future expenses, and then the condo fees shoot way up, or there's a special assessment. So be very careful of that, right? We own a lot of condo townhomes, so I love condo complexes. I'm just not a huge fan myself of condo apartments in Kitchener-Waterloo or London or smaller towns. That's more for Toronto and bigger cities.
There is someone here, Rady's Investing and Real Estate. He says, not sure if you remember me, if you know me or remember me, but I'm 18 years old and becoming a realtor. Any tips or advice for a first year? Also took Jeff Weibo's 100K
Okay,
course.
perfect. So Jeff Weibo's course has a lot of what I'm talking about here with the social media attracting that I do for partners, but it's the same exact thing for being a realtor. The same strategies I use to attract partners, I do it for realtor clients as well. So get on this, especially as a realtor. For some reason, the real estate agent industry just doesn't like social media. They're still doing the old 1990s thing. Good, let them do that. Let them buy the bus ads. Let them do the benches. Let them go to the expensive brokerages. And I'm sure that's all in Jeff Weibo's course. You already know all that. But learn social media. It's free most of the time, and it is way more powerful than what the other realtors are doing. So get on this, be different, start building your brand now. If you wanted to get my course Unlimited Cash, the same principles apply to real estate agent. So feel free to do that, but there's a lot of good stuff in Jeff's course. I saw it, it's some good stuff in there. So you're on the right track.
Robert Savoy says, can you explain your process for screening tenants?
Yeah, so this is something I do with property managers a lot. However, the most important step that you can do is screening your tenants on the phone. So I like to always find my tenants in my properties. I try to find the tenants myself. I like that process. I like the marketing. I know how to attract the ones I want. But what you can do is find the tenant and then pass them off to your property manager after for the credit check. That's what I normally do. But what you want to do is screen them first on the phone. So what a lot of investors do is when a tenant calls back to your ad or responds and they say, cool, I like the house, can I come see it? Most investors say, yeah, come on by Sunday at 4 p.m. and I'll show you. That is a mistake. You want to screen them on the phone first. So feel free to private message me or email me, and I'll actually send you the questionnaire that I have that I talk to tenants on the phone. Some of the questions are, where are you living now? How much are you paying there? How long do you want to stay at your next place? Do you have a job? How much do you make at that job? So I get real personal, and you'll know right away if they're telling the truth or not, because the reality is most people don't know how much money they make every month, which blows my mind. But you'll find that a lot when you talk to tenants. When you ask them how much do you make, you'll often say, oh, I don't know. And then they'll ask their partner how much they make. It's crazy. But ask them how much they make, because if your rent is, let's say, $1,600 a month and they only make $3,000 a month, okay, don't show them the property. It's not going to work. You know right away. So don't waste your time. And then what I like to do also is group tenants together. So I'll have one showing, let's say, a Sunday at 4, and I'll try and get 4 or 5 or 6 of them to come at the same time. That's a very powerful strategic move in order to make people take the property. Because if there's 6 people walking through the house, they're going to get a little antsy and they're going to want to take it right now, as opposed to if you schedule them every 15 minutes, which is what I used to do. What I found, the open house style was super, super powerful, because once you pre-qualify everybody on the phone first, you got a bunch of A players coming to see the house, and they're going to feel that energy and they're going to want to take the property even more. So that's a really great way to kind of cipher through people at the very beginning. Next thing you can do also is get pay stubs, actual pay stubs of the income, and make sure it matches what they told you. If they tell you, yeah, I make $5,000 a month, make sure the pay stubs match exactly what they say, so that you're not dealing with someone who's a liar. You'll know right away. And then obviously I do a credit check, but I can't do that. I let my property managers do that. They have access to that whole system. And then they tell me their credit rating is this, they miss payments on this and this and this, and then you'll know if they're a good tenant or not. But also use your gut. Your gut feeling is the number one tool that you have. I've only been screwed by a tenant one time in my entire investing career so far. And when I brought the property, I knew right away they're not the best tenant, but I decided, let's give them a shot, let's try it out. And they were the ones that gave me problems. Everybody else so far has been fantastic. So use your gut. That's actually your number one tool.
Carolina asks, thoughts on using a property as an Airbnb over renting it out?
Yeah. So I actually have a video coming on this on Friday. So it depends where you want to go in real estate, what strategy you want to do. So Airbnb is a very active style business. You have people coming in all the time. You have to change the toilet paper, you have to clean the house every couple of days when they leave, et cetera, et cetera. It is a very active business. So if that's what you want, then that's a great strategy you can use. If you want something more passive, something like my real estate investing strategy is much more passive. I want boring, predictable. So Airbnb for me is not a good fit for my core values, my ideal lifestyle. It doesn't work for me. However, if that's something you want to do, Airbnb is a fantastic investing strategy. So it's more of a personal question. What do you want out of real estate? Which goes back to the beginning of this live when I talked about what do you want in your life, right? We're going into 2019. We want to start goal setting. What do you want out of life? What do you want real estate to provide you? Do you want to be hands-on in your business every day? Airbnb might be a great strategy for you. There's a lot of money to be made there.
Joe Parr wants to know, what is your average purchase price for a single family home? How much do you put down, and what is the rent like in Kitchener? Trying to narrow down the right neighborhood to invest in. I live in Georgetown. Okay,
awesome. So the properties we're buying in Kitchener are typically between $330,000 and $350K. This is the sweet spot for Kitchener-Waterloo, and these properties are renting for between $1,750 and $1,800, depending on how much we renovate them. We like to renovate our properties pretty high, so right now at this time, we're getting closer to $1,800 for a semi-detached property, which again, I should write that down. That's the key properties that we want in Kitchener-Waterloo, semi-detached. Most of my portfolio are those properties. They're amazing, incredibly boring. They attract tenants like this. They appreciate super well, best properties I have. And we're buying those right now between $330 and $350. So that's kind of the sweet spot in Kitchener. Once we start getting over $350, it doesn't make as much money and it's hard to find good deals.
And so how much are you typically putting into a deal?
Oh, so we're doing 20% down. So 20% down that's typical for most mortgages. And then for renovations, we're spending between $20,000 and $30,000 almost on every deal we buy. Again, we like to go above and beyond so our property's boring for the next 5 years. So we replace floors, kitchens, trim, doors, everything, paint the whole house, everything, so that it's boring for the next 10 years. So that's what we do. And my clients also follow in the same system mostly. So it's between 20 and 30 grand in renovations, and then whatever your down payment is on 350, I think it's close to 70 grand. So on average, we're spending between 90 and 100 grand all in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Sid Hunt says, your helping style is awesome, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Alan says, Matt, provide updated thoughts on flips. The last live broadcast, I think you mentioned you might be slowing down the focus on that end at the moment, given the market.
Yeah, so the market is still changing quite a bit. It's pretty slow right now. We just sold a flip, which was renovated top to bottom, like one of the nicest flips we've ever done. And it took a little longer than expected to sell. We finally sold it, made a decent profit. Cool, we got out of that one. But I'm holding back, like I said, a little bit on flips, especially in Kitchener-Waterloo. I just want to see what's going to happen with the market going into spring, and then we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm focusing a lot on buy and hold. So a lot of partners that I had lined up who wanted to do flips with me, we're moving over to buy and holds because there's way more money to be made. It's easier to get deals now on the market. The problem is you have to flip properties off the market. We can't flip off MLS. You'll never make money in most cases. So the sellers haven't really caught up with the market changing, right? The market's changed a lot. It's a lot slower. But the sellers around here haven't realized that. So when I go in there and tell them, the most I can pay is 300 grand for this detached house, a lot of times they're telling me to get the hell out of their house and they're screaming at me. They haven't realized yet that the market's changed. So I'm gonna let them chill a bit. They'll realize it pretty soon. In the meantime, we're buying more buy and holds, right? We just bought 4 last week and we're trying to buy 1 more now. So the focus has changed on that. And I personally like buy and holds a lot more. The flips are cool, it's great, quick money, but the real money is buy and hold. So it just depends on the real estate cycle, right? We don't stop investing in real estate. We just change a bit with the real estate cycle.
Carolina says, any tips on building a team of reputable contractors, brokers, accountants, etc.?
Yeah, so again, going back, you should work with an investment savvy real estate agent in whatever area you're trying to buy. They already have the contractors, they already have the team. For example, if you're investing with me in Kitchener-Waterloo and I'm helping you as your realtor, I already have the contractors. I give you the whole team pretty much in most cases if they're available, if they're not doing flips on our properties, but in most cases, my clients also have access to my contractors. So it's a quicker way, instead of you going out, trying to build this team, which can take a long time, especially contractors. They're the number one team member that's gonna screw you the most out of all of your team members. It's very hard to find a good contractor. So network with good investors in your area, but the best way is to work with a specialized investment realtor. They're probably already gonna have the whole team for you and just bypass you 3 or 5 years of hustling, trying to get this going. They already have it for you.
William, what about cheap condos? Is it a well-running building? Cash flow is 12%, but condos do not go up in value like a house. Should I keep buying condos in this building?
It's up to you. That's a personal question. It depends what you want. If they're working for you and you like them, keep going. I do the same thing with the one complex we buy our condo townhomes in. We have three in there right now, and we're always trying to buy more all the time because we know the corporation, it's running really well. I'm on the board of directors in that condo corporation, so I have a say in what's going on. I see what's coming up in the future. So if you're specializing in one complex, go for it. If it's working for you, keep going.
Rental in my area, which is Fraser Valley, in
Cool.
the summer of 2019. I watch the MLS listings daily, and I'm starting to see a trend of price drops. Will waiting help?
So I don't like the idea of waiting. Don't wait to buy real estate and wait, right? That's the old adage. So there's money to be made in almost any real estate market, especially the one you're in and the one we're in right now, almost all across Canada, right? Things are slowing down. So get into something as soon as you can, as long as it makes sense. Does it cash flow on day one? Is it in a good area? If it checks all the boxes, buy it now. Do not wait. Get into something, let that property do its thing, let it get paid down in mortgage, let it appreciate, go on to the next one, find the next deal. So I really would say don't wait, keep going, keep hustling. There's money to be made all the time.
William, are you going to do a similar Vegas seminar again? I missed the last one.
Yeah, so I think Matt McKeever and Jeff Weibo are going to do another one for sure in 2019. And they actually have a lot of events coming up in 2019. I think one a month. Every single month, there's a big event going on. So I think those guys have some stuff coming down the pipeline. So keep an eye on our channels and you'll see some good events.
Victor, how do you analyze deals when in a high or bubble market, like in Denver, Colorado?
So how do you analyze property? So that's, you work with a specialized realtor. Again, they're gonna know the area. I don't know anything about Denver, Colorado, other than it's a cool area, and I know it's a good, solid real estate investing area as well, from what I've heard. But work with a specialized realtor who knows the market that you trust, not just trying to sell you deals. And in a hot market, you really have to start focusing on private deals. So that's the reality, right? We just went through that for the past year or two in Kitchener-Waterloo. We were focusing a lot on off-market deals because the MLS deals, like you said, are too hard to cash flow. Now the market's changed. Now there's a ton of deals on MLS again, great cash flowing properties. So you just have to change your strategies with the real estate cycle. If you guys are still in the hot market, you got to do other things that other buyers and realtors aren't doing, which is typically off-market properties. So start networking with a lot of savvy real estate investors or wholesalers specifically to find you off-market and great quality deals.
Okay, so a similar kind of question. Scott wants to know, well, first he says, what's up, Matt?
What's up, man?
In your opinion, what area in the States do you feel is a strong market to invest in? Do you mentor new investors?
I personally don't know anything about the US market other than what people I know and acquaintances who tell me stuff. I specialize only in my little area. So I don't even know areas are like 2 hours away from my area in Canada. I'm really focused and specialized. But from what I heard, I know a lot of Canadian investors, a lot of friends of mine who invest in Atlanta, Georgia, and Phoenix. Those are the two popular places that I know a lot of people from Canada are investing in. Is it a good market? I couldn't tell you, but they're making some good money there. So that's up to you. I'm not saying you should go to Atlanta. That's what I've heard.
Do you mentor new investors?
I mentor people in terms of my courses. So I have a lot of courses, which you can see in the link below. My best course for especially new investors is the Unlimited Cash, which teaches you how to build a brand, how to attract money, how to get your name out there properly in 2019 using social media. I also have a bunch of free books you can get on that same page. You'll see all the courses there in the link. And then also I do coaching calls for 147 bucks Canadian, which is like $2 American. So you can always take advantage of that.
Ranveer says, I've been keeping up with you and decided to invest in a student rental near the university. 4 months into the lease, my tenants are threatening me and going to the human resources with funded lawyers on their side.
So, something I always talk about, there's a reason why I like single family properties. Not to say you shouldn't invest in multifamily, student properties, etc. I love those properties, but the reality is, when you start going to multifamily and especially student properties, the quality of tenant goes way, way down every single time, way down, especially student properties. Is that a bad investment? Absolutely not, just a different business. So you have to know what you're getting into. Are you comfortable with the risk of dealing with hands-on things coming up all the time, more headaches? That's just the reality of student properties. So that's just part of the business, unfortunately, in that niche. So just power through it, get all your forms in order to start evicting them, do what you can do, start hiring paralegals and property managers, but realize that that's just part of the business when you go to that area of multifamily student properties.
I'm assuming he's in the area. Is there like a property manager or paralegal you could recommend?
Yeah, so definitely DM me if you want on Instagram or on YouTube, or email me, but I'll promote them on here. KW Property is the property manager I work with the most here. So contact KW. If you email me, I'll introduce you personally to the owners of that company, so they'll take care of you. But they're really the best company especially to take care of evictions. They're like wizards with that kind of stuff. So they'll definitely help you with that.
Carlos just says that, hey Matt, I'm in Kitchener, just got my offer accepted on a duplex yesterday.
Nice. Good stuff, man.
William, do you have anyone in Alberta I could get in touch with or recommend property investment, realtors, lenders, or managers, property managers?
I don't have any on the top of my head. I have a couple of people that I work with. I just can't think of their names, but if you message me or DM me, I'll find you the right realtors for your area, definitely.
Sidhan, hey Matt, if I join your team, do I get access to your inner circle or meetings? So to hang out with people with common interests?
Yeah, definitely. If you work with me, especially as a client, I'll take care of you. You get access to my whole team. If we go to events, you can hang out with me, whatever. Definitely. So you're in the inner circle if you work with me, for sure.
Scott says, sorry, one more question.
Yep.
If you have a HELOC in place, can you still put down 20% and get a mortgage on an investment property rather than use your HELOC cash?
I'm confused. So you don't want to use your HELOC to buy a property, because that's a really good way to do it. So use the HELOC to put down the 20%, which is virtually 0% down, although you're using the HELOC, but that's a great strategy. Is that what you're asking?
Scott, gotta clarify.
Yeah, I gotta clarify just a little bit.
Jose, I will be buying my first property next year. It will be my first home for me and my family. I want to buy rental properties after. What is the limit to buying rental properties?
There's no limit. The only limit is in residential financing. So properties with 5 units or less, that falls under residential financing. So for most people, typically you hit the financing wall between 3 and 5 properties. That's when the bank says no more. Doesn't matter how much money you make, how good your credit rating is, how good your other properties are doing. I don't care. No more money for you. So at that point, you need to start doing joint venture partnerships with people who can do the mortgage and qualifying for you. So that's what I do right now. I've ran out of the allowance to buy properties. I can't buy anymore. I own too much real estate. So I have to go off title now with my partners, and my partners qualify for the mortgages. So I don't even exist in the eyes of the bank. We have a joint venture agreement off title. I talk about this in my course. I teach you all of that. And that's really the best way. So once you hit that financing wall, it's extremely important now that you need to start focusing on attracting partners so you can keep buying more real estate, because you can buy literally unlimited. Now, when we start buying commercial real estate in our own personal name, again, that's unlimited. So 6 units or more. So apartment buildings, those fall under commercial financing. Don't get it confused with commercial properties like salons and convenience stores. Big apartment buildings still fall under commercial financing status. So you can buy those unlimited once you run out of residential properties or you hit the financing wall. And let's say you don't want to do partnerships for whatever reason, you'll have to move to commercial buildings at that point.
Victor says that he also seconds Scott's question on using HELOC. So maybe there's just something I'm missing.
Okay.
In the,
So a HELOC is a great way, if that's what you're asking. You should definitely use your HELOC to buy real estate and try not to use your liquid cash instead of that. Use the home equity line of credit. You can write off the interest. It's much smarter. You get a higher return on investment because it's not really your liquid money in your pocket. It's just money you have tied up in your other properties or your primary residence. So if that's what you're asking, definitely use the HELOC as much as you can. Save your liquid cash for other things, education, coaches, programs, whatever. That's what I would say.
Victor, LLC advice for first-time buyers.
Okay, so I have another video coming on that, but this is something you should talk to with your accountant. But here's the general thing. If you're doing, a lot of people want to do corporations. Is a very loaded question because it's different answer for every single person. So if you want to do flips and you know you're going to do 3 or more flips a year, you should definitely probably do a corporation. If you want to keep buying residential real estate, so single family, duplexes, triplexes, no, do not do a corporation because you're not going to get financing for it. Or if you do, it's going to be nasty. High rates, a lot of crappy terms. If you're doing commercial real estate, like I said before, the big buildings, 9 times out of 10, the lender will actually demand you to do a corporation. So we do commercial, yes. Flips, most often, yes. When we're buying residential properties, no. The second thing is, if you're doing what I'm doing, which is off-title partnerships, yes. If you're going to buy a lot, if you know you're going to be serious in real estate and build this business, a lot of times it makes the most sense to do your off-title partnerships in a corporation. Now, however way you structure that, there's like a million different ways to structure this. These are very general. You want to talk to your lawyer, your accountant, and your mortgage brokers. 3 people you have to consult with before you do a corporation. But the basic rundown is your accountant will almost always tell you, yes, doing a corporation is a very smart idea. You get better taxes, a much better tax rate. Your lawyer is going to say, yes, a corporation is a great idea. It limits your liability. So people can't actually sue you personally. They'll sue the company, which is just a paper ownership. It doesn't really own anything except for that one house or how many houses you have. Your mortgage broker is almost always going to say, no, do not do a corporation if you're buying properties in your own name. Like I said, if you're doing off-title partnerships all day long. That's what I'm doing. That's what a lot of investors I know are doing as well. That's a very basic rundown, but I have a video coming out early January. It's scheduled all about this in greater detail. So stay tuned for that.
Tiger Rocks. Best trade, plumbing, electrician, or carpentry to benefit for real estate renovations?
Carpentry. So are you asking if you want to become an electrician, carpenter, or plumber? The best trade to learn, in my opinion, is carpentry because you get a taste of everything and you get to do the fun stuff like the paint, floor, trim, countertops. You learn the most in your career, I guess, as opposed to just electrical or plumbing.
I think the question might be like,
what's the best contractor?
The best one to have on your team if you're going to have.
You need all of them. So if you're asking which one's the best one, you need all of them. You need to go to an electrician, a good plumber, a carpenter. You don't really want a carpenter doing, obviously, your wiring. No way. You don't want to do that because there's safety protocols. You get huge trouble if you have somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. A plumber, carpenters can get away with doing basic plumbing like changing sinks. That's fine. But if you're talking about breaking ground and laying pipes, and definitely get a plumber for that as well. So you need every single person on your team. But the carpenter is the one you're going to use probably the most. So they're the most important member to find, but you need all of them.
Alan, what's your typical cash flow on your BRRRR model for the semi-detached price point you focus on?
Yep, so the semi-detached properties we're doing, Yeah.
You don't say BRR?
No, fair.
BRR?
Yeah, Rachel's getting, she's new. No, okay. The single families we're doing are pretty much between 100 and 200 bucks a month after property manager, after everything, after refinance. So a lot of people are gonna say, Matt, that's bullshit. That's so shitty. Single family is a different game. It's long-term, it's boring. If a lot of people knew, and I'll make a video about this coming up actually, because I'm very passionate about this. When I first started investing, I was buying single family properties that cash flow $30, $50 a month after everything, right? Boring, great quality tenants. I remember people then saying, Matt, you're insane. These properties suck ass. You're not gonna get anywhere in life, whatever. Now, 8 years later, you should see the freaking equity we have in those properties. Single families, long-term. So I'm gonna take that equity, sell that property or whatever. It's doing well, it's boring. I don't even have to think about it. But the money I have in single family, when I extract that, I can then slap it down, like I said at the beginning, on a big $5 million complex or whatever, which is my goal, right? I love multifamily for the financing rules, but I like single family for the tenant quality. So what I'm gonna do is take all the equity I've made in the single families and plop it down on a townhouse complex of 10, 15, 20 townhomes. So I still got the single family tenant, but now I got the multifamily cash flow and the multifamily rules. So wrap that up. Single family looks unattractive for cash flow, and it is. It's not meant for cash flow. Single family is long-term and for predictability, boring. Like a lot of people are having troubles with student tenants or multifamily tenants always not paying rent. We never, ever really have any problems with our single family tenants, but we take a hit on cash flow. No, we do not have crazy cash flow yet, but in 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, holy shit, it's gonna be incredible. The people who have the buildings are still gonna be running around like idiots with pulling their hair out, trying to deal with bad tenants. We'll be chilling, traveling the world. At that point, boring, easy. So it's long-term, it's different.
Andrew, I think he just wants some clarification. He says, so you purchased at $330,000 and rent for $1,800. What about the 1% rule? I must be missing something.
Yeah, see again, so it doesn't really meet the 1% rule. So if I break down the numbers, you'll find that they cash flow between 100, 200 bucks a month. So it's definitely a good property in my eyes, but again, it's long-term. Single family is not meant for cash flow today. It's meant for boring and easy cash flow tomorrow. And by tomorrow, I mean 5, 10 years. And then it's just incredible property. So you have to have a long-term vision when you're buying my kind of properties. So if that's not for you, then you have to go to multifamily, you have to go to students, but realize you're gonna take a hit on other things. You can't have it all. When you start going to multifamily student properties, and while I love these properties, you're getting way lower quality tenants than what I'm getting in my properties, but you're getting more cash flow. So what's important to you? What are you willing to put up with? Again, go back to your goals. What do you want in life? What do you want your real estate business to look like? It's not all about cash flow, guys. It's not all about ROI. That's bullshit. Don't listen to what everybody tells you. What do you want in your life? How do you want to live your life? How do you want your business to fund your life? Figure that out first, then buy the right real estate for you. If you don't mind having 1 foot in the business, 1 foot out, or both feet way into the business, then go to student properties, go to multifamily. That's probably the right fit for you. If you want to travel the world, spend time with your family, not have to worry or think about real estate, go single family. Just wait a little longer. It'll be worth it.
Raheem, hi Matt. How do I get financing on multiple properties when the bank declines because you have 2?
So you gotta go joint venture partnerships. You have to find people to qualify for the mortgages for you, which is unfortunate. It's just the way Canada is. Same with America. If you're from America, it's the same thing. It's not very pro investment in these countries. Once you hit a certain amount of properties, that's it. So what you have to do is go to joint ventureships, how to attract partners, how to find partners, how to pitch deals, how to find the right deals, and convert people to invest with you. I talk about this a lot on my channel and in my course. So it sounds like you're at that time. You need to start figuring out how to attract partners. It's the most important thing as a real estate investor.
Scott says he wasn't clear with his HELOC question.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that we've answered it though.
I think so. But let us know again if we didn't.
Mitchell, what do your partnerships look like? 50-50?
Yeah. So my partnerships look like this. The partner must bring all of the money to buy and renovate, all of it. So like I said before, usually between 90 and 100 grand for the properties we're doing, Kitchener, Waterloo. They bring all the money, and they also get the mortgage in their name. To make this sum up real quick, what I do is everything else. So on closing day, I take over. Now they're done if they want to be done. So I manage the renovation. I have my crew that works for me pretty much all year. They come in, they know the system. I already got them set up. They've already renovated over 10 properties for me. They know how everything goes. I manage the renovation. I find the tenants. I manage the property managers, because that is a thing. When you have property managers, it's not set and done. You got to manage them. I manage the bookkeepers, the accountants, the lawyers. I do everything else while my partner can stay on the couch and do nothing. Or what often happens is I'm their real estate coach. So when somebody partners with me, that's something else I offer in my program that a lot of people don't do. I'm your real estate coach. For as long as we're partners together, you can email me, call me, talk to me, anything about anything real estate related. I'm your one-on-one coach. So that's the benefit I offer. Also, when we sell the property in 5 years, typically, I do not charge commission because I am a realtor. So we save on that as well. So that's really how my partnerships are set up in a nutshell. If you want to find out more, feel free to message me. I can actually send you a package. It's like 40 pages of every single property we've ever done. I break it all down so you see what my partnerships have looked like, how much money we've made with my partners. And also on my YouTube channel, if you go to see my flip playlist, which has all the properties I've ever renovated before and after, you can see all of them there as well. So check that out for sure. But that's basically how my partnerships are structured. And then I forgot to mention, when we sell it, we split the profits 50-50. So I don't get a single penny until the very, very end, and only if it was profitable. So that's another selling point you can use to attract partners. So if my partner's put in 100 grand, let's say, like I said at the beginning, when we sell the property in 5 years, they get their 100 grand back first, and then whatever's left over is 50-50.
Building on your partnership discussion, Victor wants to know, do you ever partner with investors outside of your area?
100%. So about 90% of my partners are from Toronto, GTA Toronto. So it doesn't really matter. I've had a lot of people approach me from the States as well. Actually, a lot of people. It's a lot harder for Americans to qualify for properties in Canada, but I have a lot of requests from the States to partner, and then also people from BC as well. So it's a little easier, obviously, for the people in BC. So I'm open to work with anybody as long as you can, like I said, provide all the money, get the mortgage in your name. I'll take care of everything else.
Matt Rooney says, great info, Matt.
Thanks. Are you a realtor in Kitchener? That name sounds familiar. So this is a tough one. This just comes from working with contractors. As you start working, you'll know who's good and who's bad. I had a leg up because I was a contractor before I became a realtor and investor, so I knew exactly what to look for, the signs of a creepy contractor, etc. But your gut feeling will be the most important. If somebody comes unprofessional, they talk terrible, it's terrible to judge people that way, but this is your business. This is your life. So you want to have your properties with someone you trust. So use your gut is the most important. When you find a new contractor, start them off with something small if you can. Maybe it's just a floor in a bathroom or changing a countertop or something fairly small, and then start building from there. But once you find a good contractor, keep them as much as you can because you don't want them going away and getting too busy. So that's what I do with my contractors. I try and keep them busy almost all year long between our partnerships and then my clients. Like I say, if you're a client of mine in Kitchener-Waterloo, you get my team. So I'm keeping them busy on purpose because I want to keep them. They're mine. I don't want them going anywhere else because I've tested them. They've passed the test over and over again. I'm going to try and keep them. I've had a lot of bad contractors. It's a terrible thing. Like I said, contractors are the #1 person or team member that's going to screw you the most and cost you the most money. It's not your realtor, your mortgage broker, or your lawyer. It's going to be carpenters specifically. That's the one who's going to cost you the most. So it just takes time, but most important, your gut. You'll know right away if someone's not going to be good.
And also, you don't always want to go with the person who bids the cheapest.
That is a very important one. Actually, never go with the person who bids the cheapest. What you want to do is what most people say, is get 3 quotes, right? So #1 will be the cheapest, #2 will be middle, #3 will be super expensive. Go with these guys. Which one, whatever fits your budget. But what I always do actually is, again, once you become better at renovations and knowing how much things should cost, again, me being a carpenter, I can walk into a house and I know within 10 minutes it's gonna cost 30 grand, 40 grand, I already know. but I set the price. So when my contractors come, every time, even though we've worked together like for like 3 years now straight, it's the same process. When they come, I say, guys, this is it. This is how it's gonna go. 30 grand. This is, you take it or leave it. And they know because we've worked together so much, but you set the price and see how they feel with that. Like I said, the more you do this, the more you'll realize what price it should be, right? Don't insult somebody with a low price, but I always give them a super fair price. But I say that's how it is. 30 grand, that's what I got. Can you do it or not? Yes or no? That's actually a really good way, because if you just wait for quotes, they're gonna think they can take advantage of you, especially if they don't know you and they think you're just, oh, this other investor, you probably know nothing, etc. They'll try and squeeze a little more out of you. They'll throw a quote a little high. You set the price. All I have is 50 grand, let's say, to renovate this. Materials included. So your labor's gotta be like 25 grand or whatever. Just you set the price, figure out what it's gonna cost for your renovation, and see how that works. I find that strategy works a lot better rather than waiting for the quotes to come in and then trying to negotiate with people. That's not the best way. You set the price.
Sidhan, how to decide if a property is worth buying?
So that's a personal thing as well, but number one, all properties must cash flow on day one. That's an obvious. It has to cash flow on day one. How much cash flow do you want? What type of property are you comfortable with? So again, a lot of people get stuck up on, oh, it's got to cash flow $1 million a month or whatever. That's what makes a good property. No, it's not. What do you want your business to look like? Because the properties that people I know are buying are not good for me, man. I would never buy them. Same for them. They would never buy my properties. So because it fits our different core values and what we want. So focus more. The better question is, what do you want? What kind of life do you want? How busy do you want to be as a real estate investor? What are you comfortable in exchange to give up? If you want more cash flow, realize you're getting lower quality tenants, period. That's just the way it's going to be. If you want less cash flow, but you want a super high quality tenant that you can just forget about and never hear from probably, single family. So that's the better question to ask.
Alan, when you convert your portfolio from single family duplexes to a townhouse complex, do you have to own every unit in the complex to qualify for commercial financing, or just a minimum number of them?
So if it's a whole complex, it's probably gonna be all for sale. But if you're asking what meets commercial status, it's gotta be more than 6 townhomes. So I think it's the question you're asking. But you would own all of them in the complex. It would all be under one address, most likely. It would be 123 Main Street. But at 123 Main Street, there's 14 townhomes in that complex, right? So I think that's what you're asking. But you would own all of them. Yeah.
Friendly white guy.
Nice.
Why don't you convert single-family homes into 3 self-contained units and cash flow much more that way?
So it depends if the zoning will allow for that. So we do a lot of duplex conversions as well. I love doing duplex conversions. But if the zoning allows for it and it has the side entrance, et cetera, we'll for sure do it, 100%. If it can fit 3 units, yeah, we'll do that too. We've done one was a triplex. We converted to a 4plex. So if the zoning allows for it, that's a great option. We'll definitely do that. It just depends if the zoning, really, that's the most important thing.
Zoning and whether it makes sense.
Yeah, if it makes sense too. Yeah, if it's going to cost like an outrageous amount to dig out the foundation to put this other door in, it might not make financial sense. It might be better off just leaving it as a single family or a duplex, etc.
Evan Murray, do you put up any money for JVs? And then somebody answered, he doesn't.
Yeah. So 99% of the time, I will not. And if I do, I usually get it back right away within 2 months or so after the refinance. But it's very rare that I put money in. Very rare. Maybe we should do a giveaway on the book and then go back some questions, then do the other one after. Let's do that.
Well, there's still people who have commented that
okay.
we haven't gotten to.
All right,
so I think just to be fair, we should wait to the end.
All right, let's get to it.
Okay, so in terms of your JVs,
yeah.
Scott has another question. He says, with regards to working with you, could you please repeat what you need from your partner?
Yeah.
You need the partner to be able to put down the down payment and take on the mortgage, and you handle the rest?
That's it, exactly. So if you bring all the money to buy, renovate, so you want to close on the property, 20% down, land transfer tax, lawyer fees, you got to bring all that money, and then all the money to renovate that property. That's it. I take over and I do everything else for the next 5 years for free. I don't take a single penny until the very end, and only if we make money. So I handle everything while I'm your real estate coach. You have full access to me. Ask me questions, whatever you want. So that's how my partnerships are set up.
Okay, Claudia. Hi, Matt. My fiance
Awesome.
He's in
Thank
home
you.
right now. However, a question he would like to ask is, have you ever bought a house and flipped it? If so, was it worth it? Was it the return good?
Yeah, so I love doing flips. Before I said we stopped doing flips actually recently just because the market's changing. But for the past 3 years, in Kitchener-Waterloo, sorry, yeah. But for the past 2 or 3 years, we've been flipping very actively. So I love doing flips, but I have the carpentry background, the contractor background. So I know how to do flips very quickly. We have a good crew, but it's a whole nother business. It's very active, and I would say a very extremely advanced investor strategy. It doesn't mean you can't do it if you're starting off and you haven't done even one property. You can definitely do flips, but just realize it's way ahead. And if you make a small mistake, it can cost you big. Whereas if you buy a buy and hold, you can make many mistakes repeatedly and you'll probably still make out okay in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. If you make a mistake on a flip, you're done right away. You could lose a lot of money. You could also make a lot of money. So it's very appealing that way, but you have to really know what you're doing. But to answer your question, yes, we do flips. I love doing flips. It's a great strategy.
And also, if you're not going to flip it, you can renovate it and refinance as a sort of...
Yeah, so that's another thing. So if you are going to flip a property, try and have other exit strategies. So what if this flip doesn't work out and I get screwed? The market changes. Can I rent it out? Can I refinance it? Is it a good property to rent out? So if you have multiple exit strategies, that's fantastic. That's way better than, no, I have to flip this or else nobody's going to want to rent this because the property is going to cost $600,000 to sell. I can't rent a $600,000 house. It won't cash flow. So that's why when I do flips, I really try and do flips in like a blue collar, B area where it's an entry level home. So in my area, an entry level home is $400,000 and under, right? So a first time buyer can always buy, a property like this. So if I try and flip it and it doesn't work, I can still rent this property out for maybe $1,900 and it'll still cash flow, probably barely, but at least I didn't lose money. And then I can wait 2, 3, 4 years and then sell it and then make way more money, right? So multiple exit strategies is good. That's why I kind of stay away from flipping higher end homes. We did that just this past summer. We flipped a higher end home with a pool. It was like the first time I've ever done that. We made out really good on it, but it could have went sour real quick if it didn't sell, right? Because that house had to sell or else we're screwed.
Carlos, where do you find duplex bylaw requirements in Kitchener?
Yeah, so whenever you're looking at property, you want to call the city. And so let's say you're trying to buy 123 Main Street and you're interested in duplexing it. So call the city, the zoning department in Kitchener and say, I'm thinking about buying 123 Main Street. What's the zoning on that property? They'll tell you in 5 minutes. So what you want to look for is R2 or greater. So R2, R3, R4, and then we start getting to MU1, MU2. Those are a little different. But most of the time, they're going to be in R2. This is the one you're looking for. If the zoning is R2 and you can make a double wide driveway, that's another requirement, then you're good to go. You can duplex that property. You can file for the plan, which will take 10 business days. You'll get approved every single time pretty much. It's a very easy process, but you must have the R2. A lot of investors in Kitchener-Waterloo who aren't working with me, blows my mind. They say, Matt, I bought a property. I want to duplex it. And the realtor they were working with didn't know anything about investing and didn't think to check the zoning. And it was a residential zoning only. You cannot duplex that property. I've had so many people come up to me and say that they got screwed on it, and you do not want to be in that situation. So work with an investment savvy realtor, but if you're looking on your own, it's a simple phone call the zoning department, and you're looking for R2. If it has that, you're good to go.
Because that's something that you'll do for your...
Yeah, I do it for you. So if you work with me, when I'm finding properties for you, I'll call and ask before I even send you the property, because I'm only sending you good properties. When you work with me, I'm not sending you as a realtor. When you work with me, I'm not sending you properties on an automated list like every other realtor does. I only send you hand-picked properties. Now, you might only hear from me once a week, but the property I send you is a good property and you better act on it. No, I'm kidding. But I do all of this screening for you before that. So I'll make sure of all this. But if you're doing it on your own, that's what you're looking for.
Victor, what is the turnover time on a deal with you and what is the average profit?
On a flip or buy and hold? So a flip typically takes 2 months to flip and then put it on the market. So it's usually 4 months from close to close when the buyer closes on it. The average, what we're making, a minimum is what I look for, is each of us to make 25 grand on a flip in 4 months. A lot of times we make a lot more than that. Sometimes, like the one we got kind of screwed on, we made a little less than that, but we made out, which was good because the market changed. But typically I'm looking for a minimum of 25 grand each because things can go bad pretty quick. I want to have a little bit of a buffer in there, but we can make a lot more than that as well. On a buy and hold, if we're doing a single family buy and hold, we're going to make each 80 to 100 grand after 5 years minimum. It's usually way more than 100 grand, but 100 grand is really what I'm looking for a buy and hold.
And what's the turnover time?
Turnover time for buy and hold, 5 years for buy and hold, and then a flip is 4 months close to close. So 2 months to renovate usually. I don't like getting into flips that take more than 2 months to renovate because the market can change within 4 months pretty quickly. So I want to be in and out usually between 1 to 2 months in renovation and then throw it on the market.
Well, I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Guanan Song. Matt, do you only take on partners in Kitchener-Toronto area?
I'll take partners from anywhere as long as you can qualify for the mortgage. So anywhere in Canada will be easy for you. I'll take Americans as well, but your financing will be very tough in Canada. But no, you don't have to only be in Toronto or Kitchener. You can be anywhere. I'll take care of you.
All right, so that takes us to the end of the questions.
All right, so we'll do a giveaway for now.
Well, I asked if anyone has any more questions that we'd be wrapping up probably in the next few minutes.
Okay.
So
Let's do the book giveaway for now, and then we'll check back with the questions in a bit.
So everybody who commented,
Yeah, good job.
commented, their names went into this
Bowl.
container.
Yeah. All right. This is the book I'm gonna send you. So Rich Dad Poor Dad. This is a classic book. It has all the foundations of business, money, real estate investing. This is like the Bible. It's a fantastic book. It's very general, so it's American or Canadian based. So it's not just Canadian, but some amazing principles. So I'm gonna send you this book on me as a gift to you.
Okay. Don't peek and you can pick it.
I'm gonna come over here and let's see what we got here.
Don't look.
I'm not looking. All right. We got Alexander Revsky.
I might be, you might, let me see.
Alexander. Olevsky. Sorry about that. Okay, so comment Alexander Olevsky. Are you in Canada? Number one, because this book might be a little expensive to ship to America. No, I'm kidding. Are you though? Just to see. And also, do you already have this book? That's a very important question. Do you already have this?
Well, let's see if he's still even in.
Yeah. You got 1 minute to respond, or else we're gonna go to the next one. Do you already have it, and where are you located? Because if you already have it, I don't want to send you it. I'll get you something else.
All right, we'll wait to see if he responds.
Yeah, we'll wait a minute or so, and then we'll see.
Okay, well, in the meantime,
yeah,
there's a couple questions. Well, Mitchell says that it's the best book in the game.
Definitely.
And then Guanan Song says, how do you remotely manage properties?
Remotely, so property managers, that's the number one thing. That's also a very important member of your team. So even though I invest only in my area where I live, every property pretty much is passed off to a property manager because my ideal lifestyle is passive, boring. We want to travel, right? We're going to Hawaii in like a week or so, or 2 weeks. So we want a very passive business. So I want property managers to take all the phone calls. So it's a very important aspect of your business to have. And I would highly recommend it, even if you're buying in your local area, right? Your job as a real estate investor is to get money. That's your number one job. Find money, attract partners, build your business, pass off the day-to-day broken toilets and non-payment rents. Let your property managers do that. So network with investors, your realtor in your area, and they'll set you up with a good company.
Victor also says, great book. So I'm assuming...
Alexander Olevsky, you missed out.
Hopefully you don't draw his name again.
Yeah, I put it back over here.
Well, his name would be in here multiple times, potentially.
Commenting more, eh?
Commented frequently.
All right, see what we got here. I got you again, man.
What are the odds of that? I don't think he commented that often.
Okay. Andrew Moore? Is that what you wrote?
How?
Andrew Howe. Andrew Howe, are you still on the live?
He has been commenting a lot.
Andrew Howe.
Hopefully he's still here.
Rich Dad Poor Dad, are you on the live? Comment.
Yeah, hello, he's here.
Do you have this book already? Typing.
He says no, he doesn't.
Awesome.
He says he feels really lucky. I haven't read the whole thing.
That's amazing. Cool. DM me your address. You can email me at Homes, H-O-M-E-S. Rachel will type it in for you. Or DM me on Instagram. And then give me your address and I'll send this to you. That's cool, man. You got a good book here. Any other quick questions before we give away the other prize?
Let me just see here. I'm just sending him your email.
Cool.
5B Jugla says, I want the book. And then
Maybe you'll win the next prize. It's even better. Trust me.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, there's a question.
Okay.
So Guanan, he just wants to re-clarify his question.
Okay.
He says, for someone who lives in BC and looking to invest with you in BC, how do you structure and execute your partnership with someone who's not able to meet you in person?
Yeah, so we can do everything over emails, over Skype, over phone calls. I've worked with a lot of clients actually from BC that I've never actually met with in person, which is kind of funny. But you're free to come down 100% if you want, but we can do everything over email, phone calls, Skypes. A lot of the clients I deal with in Toronto, I actually never meet in person until way later in our friendship or our business relationship. So it's up to you. How comfortable are you? Yeah, based on trust. Everything's on trust. Everything I do is based on trust. That's my whole business. That's why I get more partners and we do very well. So it's totally up to you, but you can definitely work with me if you're not in my local area, 100%. Yeah. All right. The next prize is, I'll announce. So this next prize is a free 1-hour coaching call with me that normally costs $147. So 1 hour free coaching call. We talk about whatever you want. I'll send you a form to get right down to business. So you're going to write down exactly what you're having problems with, what you need help with, so that right when we start, there's no small talk. We get a full hour to help you with. So that's the next prize coming up.
Okay, there's a couple more.
All right, we're gonna hold off.
So I'll add these names to the pot.
Nice.
So Gordon says yes, you answered.
Awesome.
Question, Claudia, Matt, how do you avoid the capital gains tax?
You can't avoid capital gains. You have to pay the government, man. So a good way to cut your taxes is a corporation. As I said at the beginning of this, it depends if it makes sense for you, what your business model is. But buying properties in a corporation, you'll pay a much, much lower tax rate. For example, when we're flipping properties in a corporation, so active income, this can get really confusing real quick, and I don't even understand it fully. I trust my business or my accountant, right? We have a team member for every single thing, but I know a fair amount. So when we're doing flipping in a corporation, which is what I really suggest, on the active income, we're paying 15% tax rate. If we're doing a passive buy and hold, like the buy and holds we're doing in our corporation off title with our partners, right? We're paying, I believe, the max tax rate in a passive income is 38%, around there. So if you're doing, and this is corp, so if you're doing a personal tax rate, you're gonna get screwed big time, right? Personal tax rate for most of us is between 35%, and if you're in the upper wealth class or more money, let's say, you're paying almost 50% or more. So would you rather be over here or over here? But again, it depends what type of real estate you're doing. How big do you want to go? That dictates whether you should do a corporation or not. But those are some little tricks we can do. And there's a bunch of other tricks your accountant will do. I'm not going to get into those on video. I'll talk about that privately. But there's a lot of things you can do. Set income off on other areas to lower your income. But so those are the most popular ways as a corporation.
Mitchell, what's your number one goal for 2019? And do you have a morning routine?
Yeah, so I just recently started that. I actually started working with a performance and life coach to try to get my life in order, and it's exactly that with a morning routine. So I'll go over it real quick. I should make a video on this too, actually. But I get up at 6 a.m. I do some hippie stuff, which means I write down my affirmations. So things that I want in life, law of attraction. If you've watched The Secret on Netflix, right? Some real hippie stuff. Some people are like, oh man, he's crazy. I do that. I write my affirmations. I write down after that my to-do list. And then I meditate and focus on the affirmations for about 15, 20 minutes. And while I'm listening to like nature music, so I'm getting real hippie on it right here. And then I make breakfast. Rachel's still sleeping because she likes to sleep in. So
I don't sleep in that late.
Yeah.
I sleep until like 7:30.
Yeah, okay. So I come down here, I make breakfast, etc. And then I get to work. So I do 2 hours of creative work, which means I'm writing video scripts, video ideas. I'm getting planning done. Nobody's bothering me because at this time it's like 7 in the morning and I'm already at work. So I'm getting no emails, nobody's calling me. So I can really focus on my creative stuff, things that's gonna make my business, blow up my business. So I do that work then. Then around between 9 and 10 a.m., I'm getting lost here, I'll go to the gym. I'll get that out of the way. Again, people aren't really calling me at that point yet. The day hasn't really started. I get back from the gym around 11 a.m. And then that's when like the work day starts. And then I start answering emails, helping clients, finding properties, going to showings, etc. So that's kind of my basic morning routine. And what was the last question on that one? Was there another one?
What's your number one goal?
Number one goal. So the number one goal in 2019 is to buy 6 or more properties in 2019. That's the goal. And then traveling, 4 trips a year. This is good stuff because we're actually going to do our vision boards on New Year's Eve. So you're helping me here. So I want to do 4 trips in 2019. We've already got one. We're going to Hawaii for 2 weeks in 2 weeks. And then we're going to Bali in April, Vegas in February. And then we'll try and do a Europe trip in September. So that's 4. So we're already done. So that's my kind of goals for 2019.
Okay, so there's just I think one more question, but I think first before people leave, because it's been a while, let's do the and then we'll answer.
Yeah, we'll do some more questions after.
The friendly white guy's question.
So let's see.
Hey, shake it up, shake it up.
It's classy. All right, who's gonna win the 1 hour free coaching call? What do we got here? Claudia Correa.
Oh, Claudia.
Claudia Correa, are you still on the live, Claudia?
I think she said she's here for her fiance.
Oh,
so
nice.
This would be a good.
Yeah, speakerphone. Speakerphone that coaching call. Are you still on, Claudia?
Claudia. Maybe she left.
No.
Okay, we'll give her a second.
Yeah.
Let's answer a question and then we'll see.
Claudia, coaching call.
Friendly white guy. Just to clarify, you said when flipping, do you buy off MLS and sell on MLS or buy and sell off MLS?
So when I do a flip, we buy, typically 99% of the time, we're buying the flip off MLS, private deal, and we're selling it on MLS because that's where the buyers are. And number 2, I'm a realtor, so I can list it for free. That's the kind of benefit I have. So we're definitely selling it on MLS.
Okay, no sign of Claudia.
No.
So I think Claudia has left, unfortunately.
All right, guys. Who will be the lucky winner?
Do you want me to read?
Radius? Is that right?
Oh, yes. Radius.
Radius, are you still on?
Real estate investing something or another.
You still on, Radius?
Oh, wait, Claudia's here.
Claudia's here? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, Radius.
Sorry, Radius. Claudia.
Claudia.
Here. Okay.
Email me. I think the email's in the chat there, or private message me on Instagram. We'll set up that coaching call. I'll send you that form, and I'll try and help you.
All right. So, I think there is a few more questions. Tam, do you have any creative ideas on making a single-family home cash flow if you're unable to put down a large down payment to create cash flow for that home, i.e. upper and lower suites? Yeah.
So if the property allows for the duplex, it's not here, but if you're in Canada or Ontario, right, we're looking for an R2 zoning. So if the zoning allows for a duplex, that's a great way to increase rent on a more expensive property, or if you're putting less money down. Another way you can get more rent is renovate it, make it more higher end, attract a better quality tenant, and then you'll get more cash flow. And hopefully that'll cover all the expenses with your minimal down payment. So that's a great strategy for that as well. Any other questions?
Friendly white guy
Okay, sorry about that.
So lots of people are very supportive of your morning hippie routine.
Nice, man. Thank you.
Joanna gives you a thumbs up.
Cool.
Mitchell says, yes, I love it. Cheers to a great year and keep
Awesome.
on that hippie shit.
Perfect, I will, definitely.
Okay. Any last minute questions?
Last minute question before we head off? It's been a really good live, a lot of sweet questions.
Yeah, you always have the best viewers,
Yeah.
the best questions.
You guys are awesome. Like, thank you for coming on this on a Monday night. I know you could be doing a lot of other cool stuff, but thank you for being here. I hope I'm teaching you some great strategies. That's what I'm here for.
Let's give them a little bit. Maybe it's a bit lagged, you know?
Yeah. Also, if you guys want to get, if you guys want to get my course I've been talking about, if you type in the coupon code, the link's in here. I'll give you the coupon code right now. That is only allowed for you guys. Going to get unlimited cash, type in YouTube Live. This code will only be up for about 24 hours just for you guys. I don't want the people seeing this video tomorrow to get this, and you will get $200 off of that course. So I don't do this very often, but for you guys on YouTube Live, type that coupon code in and get 200 bucks off of the course. Like I said, I'll teach you exactly how to brand yourself, how to do build your business on social media, how to attract partners to you, rather than you going out and going to networking meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting, wasting your nights. Build your business online, build a brand, have people come to you. I'll teach you all of that. You get a free coaching call in that course as well. So if you didn't get the coaching call tonight, you'll get the course or a call in that. You also get access to all of my other courses and books for a lifetime. So if I create new courses, you get access to that course. You've already bought into the whole package. So it's a super good deal because with the discount, it's $397 for the whole course, the coaching call, which the coaching call alone is 150 bucks. So you get all of that. So it's a super good deal. So definitely pick that up. You'll learn a lot from that course.
He said he's sold.
Sold.
A lot of people are thanking you. Juanin, Mitchell, Friendly White Guy.
Nice.
Jose, all saying thanks.
Cool. Awesome, man. Last minute questions before we head off? How long have we been on here? Like over an hour? That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's been over an hour, yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna take up any more of your time. We'll do another live. I'm gonna try and do a live actually when we're in Hawaii. So I'm really excited for that. I'll answer some cool questions. Hopefully you'll be on a beach or somewhere cool. And I'll check in with you guys live there. After that, we'll keep doing the YouTube live every 2 weeks. So I think that's the end of the live.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. Have a good Christmas. Have a good New Year.
Don't forget to set your goals.
Yeah, set your goals, man. Going back to the beginning. This is very important. A lot of people, most people don't do this. What do you want out of life? Make a vision board. Get obsessed with your goals. Paint a picture. Reverse engineer your goals. How much money do you want? What do you need to get it? How many properties do you need to buy it in 10 years? Then break down that 10 years into 1 year goals. Buy 1 property a year, etc. Reverse engineer. It makes things so much less daunting when you break it all down. It's easy. Make it happen. So that's the live. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Got some good questions. If not, check me out on the live when we're in Hawaii, and then come back every 2 weeks and we'll do some more. So have a good holidays, good Christmas, and good New Year. See you guys in 2019.